ICONversations. Join us every Friday. We have these wonderful 1-hour conversations, always joining the big agent meeting. You can feel free to put all your questions in the chat. Our agents are going to be having a wonderful panel discussion. They're always going to be wanting to interact with you as well. And I'll be watching out on the chat as well for the next hour. If you have any questions about our ICONs conversations or the ICON program, please feel free to put that in the chat. So behind me, we have Ariel Vargas from Florida, Dave Kadoun from Alberta, Gaurav Sayal from Ontario, Rahul Arora from Ontario, and our moderator today is Shane Carvalho from California. I'll give you guys a round of applause. Shane, you can come up here on the podium or stay seating, but take it away for our ICONversations today.
Thanks for the introduction, Meg. And yeah, looking forward to being part of the panel today. Thank you all for being here as well. And we're going to go ahead and start with introductions. I'll start with myself. About to complete my third-year anniversary here at EXP. It's going to be my third year being an ICON, and been in the business now. This is my 24th year in the industry, 14 now as a realtor. My first 10 was as a lender. And I'd like to go ahead and I'll go in order of who I see. Ariel, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, how are you guys? My name is Ariel Vargas. I'm out of Orlando, Florida. Second year in EXP. Actually, it's going to be the second year in September. I have ICON twice. I just announced it actually for the second year. Been in real estate for about 10 years, and I'm originally from Cuba, born and raised, and now I'm in beautiful Florida.
Thanks, and I love Florida. I go there frequently. And Dave Kadoun.
Hey, I'm Dave Kadoun. I've been in real estate for about 8.5 years. Been with EXP. I'm in my second year. ICON first year, on the way to reaching ICON here for the second year. I'm in a small market, definitely a different market than probably many others. I've been in a buyer's market the entire time that I've been in real estate, and it's been an enjoyable roller coaster ride. We'll tell it that way. So I can definitely share with anybody in regards to how I market things different compared to what others do with the seller's market. And I'm an avid traveler. Just came back from Florida from the shareholder summit, and definitely way to gain interest and intel on how to do the market work and selling real estate, that aspect. And love being in Canada and selling real estate. So happy to share anything I can from up here.
Thanks, Dave. And Gaurav, if you can please introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. This is Gaurav Sayal from Toronto, Canada. Love to see you all here. So this is my year. I just completed 1.5 years basically in EXP, and I just did my second year ICON as well. And I've been in real estate for almost 4 years now. And as Dave just mentioned, so maybe I was lucky enough or fortunate enough to start in the bull run of the cycle of the market, and we see now how the market and dynamics are shifting. So we are trying to do the same and preempt the market dynamics to stay at the leading edge. So I love to share as well what we are doing differently. At this time, my family tree in EXP is around 29 realtors, and it's growing. So love to be a part of this amazing growing family, and happy to be here again.
Thank you, Gaurav. And Rahul, if you could please introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rahul. I'm from Toronto, Canada as well. I've been with EXP for about 3 years. Been in real estate for about 8 years. I've been ICON for the past 3. I work as a single agent, and most of my work is by referral and repeat clients.
Thanks, Rahul. And now we're going to go ahead and start our discussion. I know some of you have kind of mentioned a couple of things you'd like to talk about. And, Dave, why don't we go into, buyer's market? You've been in a buyer's market since you started. Why don't you go ahead and give us some insight on maybe some of the things that are working for you in navigating a buyer's market?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I've definitely noticed and learned is you have to have patience. And, people aren't just going out and buying the first house they see or buying a house usually within one day. We're looking at a ton of them. That's the unfortunate part. But what I learned over the years was people hate being sold, but they love shopping with their friends. And that's been a big way of how I've done my marketing in regards to dealing with buyers. When you're taking them out and telling them, take the time. If they're unsure of a house, I use the word, take your time. That house will probably be here next week. And if it's gone, I got a handful of other ones that are just being the same. And being on the seller side, and this goes with being in a buyer's market. I'm currently holding 52 listings, so it's a lot of listings. So it's a lot of marketing, a lot of time being spent. And in a buyer's market, you need to find a way to stand out from all of the others. And that's one thing I've been fortunate about with my business is I've done something else that the others haven't, and it's allowed me to grow. So going from the nobody agent when I was at my previous brokerage at Remax to growing to the point where I was number 3 of the brokerage, to jumping over to EXP where I saw the value of being able to grow and not being held back like it was in my last brokerage, and continuing to grow. You have to be able to stand out from the others, especially in a buyer's market. And, from talking with other agents across North America who are in sellers markets, I understand it's very similar in regards to you definitely want people to come to you. But from a buyer's market standpoint, you get a lot of signs out there. But that's the thing. There's so much choice. You need to be able to show what you can do differently. So for me, it's all about how I'm marketing with the professional photos, the videos. And again, it's not just one listing here and there, it's all of the listings. So whether it's a low price listing or a higher price listing, everybody gets the same treatment. And the value is there. You need to be able to make that connection with people and always stick with them and sit and listen to them. I hope that gives a little bit of insight.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah, and that theme of consistency, I actually just had that conversation with one of my agents. Given that same treatment, whether it's the $500,000 or the $3 million listing, I love that. That's something we practice as well. And thanks for sharing. I'd like to go over now to Ariel. I mean, you're in the Florida market, Ariel. Like, what part of Florida, and what's the market like in your neck of the woods?
So I am in Orlando, Florida. We're still having a pretty strong market here. Interesting enough, the luxury market here is still getting multiple offers. I'm guessing anything that's not luxury, their inventory is definitely picking up. So there are opportunities for buyers. So we are seeing seller credits. We're seeing slightly some price reductions. Anything close to the metro area of Orlando, however, it is still very strong. Neighboring cities, there are opportunities for buyers. They tend to be more payment conscious because of interest rates. I would say it's kind of a balanced market for anything below 600,000. Anything above 600,000, we're still getting multiple offers. I guess, that income demographic is not as payment conscious. But overall, it is a very strong market down here in Florida still.
Okay, well, and with that in mind, I mean, what would you say right now is like kind of your magic, or like something that makes you different or works for you that kind of sets you apart? I mean, obviously you're an Icon agent. You're a top producer. What's the one thing that's really working for you in the market right now?
So most of my business, after doing this for 10 years, I'm providing excellent customer service. It's referral based. My new business, anything that's new that I'm marketing for, I happen to have a mega Icon team, and I do give those out to my agent partners. I have about 100 agents on my mega Icon team, so I'm constantly helping them out with lead generation and whatnot. But what's working in terms of lead generation is we have gone back to basics, right? As the shift is happening or has happened, depending on what market you're in, going back to basics always gets you to a winning position, right? So we're doing tons of open houses. 6 months ago, a year ago, you would put a house on the market, it would go in hours. Here in Florida, you wouldn't even have time to do an open house. So we're going back to basics with open houses. The yin yang, we're having a lot of conversations with past clients. current clients, family members, friends, and whatnot. Zillow, for at least for us here, is working again. They're catering to agents again here in Florida, so we're getting a lot of leads from there as well. So just those three, we're concentrating on those three and really hitting it hard. And on the downtime, getting a lot of education, much like this, what we're doing here now. The reality is, in this market, if the agent is not getting both, meaning they're not hungry enough, and they're not getting the support of the education they need, they're probably gonna leave the industry. But if they're really committed and disciplined, they'll be able to do well in this transition of the market. I do agree with Dave. Dave, good seeing you again. We've been on some of these ICONversations in the past. That as far as listings, it doesn't matter what price point it is. You still treat them like they're the luxury home, and you will do well, and your clients will refer you for the business.
Thanks, Ariel. Appreciate that. Totally agree. And I want to go back over to Gaurav. I know, Gaurav, you mentioned you came into the business in a great market. I don't recall if you said the market's still strong or not. Can you elaborate on that for a second? Then I got a question for you.
Sure, yes. So the interesting thing is, obviously there's a great shift happening, or has already happened in Toronto, in Greater Toronto area where I operate. So obviously we came from a 2% interest rate to a 7% interest rate regime. And the buyers, even though they want and like a property, they may not qualify. So obviously there are high bars for them to jump, or hoops to jump, to get to that house they want to be in, right? So now another interesting thing that happened is, which sort of I focused in over the last couple months, is a distress segment from sellers. So here in Canada, or at least in GTA, the builders let people exit out of their contracts early on. It's called assignment clause. So I realized that it's a very scattered market, and many agents have few odd listings, which they might have bought for their buyer clients from builders. And now, due to change in circumstance, those buyers might be panicking, or for that matter, not able to close it and looking to exit prior to sale. And at that time, they are willing to take a sort of a haircut, so to speak, right? So I made a portal, and my team and I focused on collecting these listings. So at this time, I have around 35 of my own exclusive listings in that segment, plus a bunch of agent partners we work with. So all sort of, we have 150 odd listings focusing on that very niche. And I can tell you, since the sellers are so motivated and they just want exit, some of them, that we are having really good luck selling those. So in fact, it's sort of becoming the virtual listing agent of assignment, so to speak. A lot of people call us assignment kings in this segment. And then what we are doing is we are focusing on the first-time buyer segment. I'll get back to that shortly. So what we also found, I'm pretty sure everybody else also kind of agrees, that the investor buyers might now are waiting maybe a little more to see how the interest rates turn up, and so not really dipping their toes into a risky game of renting out, because kind of the rents don't even break even in most markets. But it's that first time buyer market that's heating up, and I'm surprised actually to see that market holding up so well. I mean, after all, Canada sees 400,000 new immigrants, so to speak, come to this country every year. And a big chunk of those, I would say statistically, maybe 1/3 of that would come into GTA, which is a Greater Toronto area. And we started running our ads on social media, or generally trying to build a bigger funnel to attract the attention of what those first-time buyers would want. And then incidentally, the first-time buyers, obviously, just like how the first-time buyer for a car would want a brand new car, so they don't have to deal with all the issues surrounding used cars. Similarly, a lot of these buyers would want a brand new house from a builder, because everybody has that thing in their head that if I buy a 10-15-year-old house, I don't know what the next thing might come off, or maybe it's the AC or a furnace or a roof or crack in foundation. So this kind of helped us connect those first-time buyer pool to these distressed segments. And I don't know exactly how many number, but I believe since the start of the year, me and my team, we have done around 30, 35 of these sales. A lot of them have been double-ended. So in fact, we kind of improved on our margins. So I would say that, regardless where market heads, there has to be some niche which maybe not everybody is focusing. Maybe they are still like, again, because maybe it's happened to me because I come from a management consulting background. So maybe it's in my thinking pattern how to figure out, or rather we were consulting big companies on how to improvise their processes. So this is one of those implementation, but it's good to share, because this is exactly what that's working for us. And this kind of, like I did Icon for this year in like less than 4 months. So that was definitely
incredible.
something. Thank you. So I always believe, there must be some niche somewhere that if we trying to go and reevaluate and think again or see problem from a different angle, we should see something unique than what other people might be missing.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting because the other question I was going to ask you, since you came in a good market and it shifted, was how you adapted. But clearly you adapted like you've been in the business for 20 years, so congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. And again, I see, we as realtors, we are always here to help our clients. But I think maybe sometimes it happens, like, again, not just with this business, but any business, if you are in that business for too long, we kind of are so used to be thinking and running and seeing things that we kind of miss out on that small thing that could lead to some innovation idea. But I would encourage everybody to just see just go back to the basics, see what's a real pain point, whether sellers or buyers may have, whom we are trying to work with and help, and see what we can do differently than what we might have not have done past or others might have overlooked. That probably can help big time.
Right. No, I appreciate you sharing all that, and congrats too on Icon in such a short period of time. That's amazing. I want to go ahead now and Rahul here. Rahul, you're in the Ontario market as well. I'm not sure if you two know each other, but obviously we got kind of the scoop on what the market's doing. Can you maybe give us a couple things that are working in your market for you right now, and if you're primarily doing more buyers or sellers?
Yeah, sure. I think we're doing a mix of buyers and sellers. I would say our sellers are about 35-40%, buyers about 60-65%. The main focus point for us is investments and portfolio management for our clients. So we do believe in creating generational wealth for our clients, and we are really big on that. And we even put that in as part of our first-time buyer presentation, that we are not just here to get you one house, but I want to build a portfolio for you in the next 5-10 years, and so that you can have massive rental income source. So that is one of our main selling points to our clients. Most of our listing appointments, when we go in as well, turn into an additional buying appointment, because we don't try to sell their houses if they can hold on to it, because the rental market in the GTA is really great. As Gaurav mentioned, there's a lot of immigration happening in and around the city right now. You really have shortage of investment properties for rents. And city is not too inclined to build purpose-built rentals in and around the GTA. So we would probably have in the next couple of years a real shortfall on the rental properties, and we are making it a point to push for it right now. Most of our clients, I would say about 50-55%, are now in the third transaction phase with us, where we bought them their house and maybe a second, or they've downsized or upsized, and now they're looking into an investment. So that's been a major selling market. And we offer property management services to our clients. It's not it's not like a complete software-based property management, but we tell them we'll find out for a tenant, we'll fix anything that goes wrong in the unit, and we'll send you a bill. So we have a bunch of contractors on a list. Anybody calls us or any tenant calls us that something's not working, we just send one of our guys in there and send the bill to our tenants, and they really appreciate it, because it's kind of a hands-off investment for them. And The rental yields are pretty impressive in and around the Toronto market, obviously. So even with the high interest rates, I think most of our clients are fairly happy to invest in rentals and investment properties.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love how you're adapting as well to what the market's doing. Really appreciate you sharing that, and thank you all for up on your specific markets. I guess I'll share a little bit about where I'm at. I'm in Northern California. I'm on basically the Monterey Bay. I live about 25 minutes south of the Silicon Valley, and a lot of you know that as the Bay Area, about a little over an hour south of San Francisco. We're in a pretty high-priced market. My median price in my immediate market is about $1.5 million. But we do sell a lot of beach and luxury and second homes to a lot of the Bay Area, tech people, and we've been in a very limited inventory market. What's interesting, though, for the first time in my 20 plus years in the business, I've never seen a market with such limited inventory, but like such a high days on market. We're running somewhere around 34 days on market. So it's interesting time. This year, I think all but 3 of my sales have been all cash, and anything over $1.5 million has been all cash. So it's just really interesting that the interest rates haven't really been a factor necessarily on a lot of the listings I've sold. I'm about 80% on the listing side. What I did want to share, though, is that when we do have people doing financing, we're being very creative in building in credits to help do buy downs and things of that nature. So that's been something that's been effective. Going forward, it seems like the market, people keep waiting for the crash, but in our specific market, it just seems like prices are continuing to appreciate. It just market's been a little bit slower, but it's also a more balanced market. We're still very short on inventory, so we're not in a full healthy market, but I would say we're balanced from the perspective of there's some good opportunities for buyers, and it's a good time for sellers as well. And I really agree with some of the things I heard from some of you. We do a lot of similar things in our market. One thing that I consistently say is treat your $800,000 listing the same as your $5 million listing. Offer the same amount of service, to professional photos, everything else. I think that's super important. Always really doing the most you can for your client. And as far as our business, we're about 90% repeat and referral. Just recently, I think 4 or 5 of the last listings have been clients that actually helped to buy the properties anywhere from 3 to 9 years ago. So very thankful to have our clients trust us to come back and work with us again. Anyway, on that note, I'd like to go ahead and move on to something else. At the end of our talk, I'd like to obviously leave some tips for newer agents or other agents out there. They're looking for new ways to be innovative with their businesses. But one thing that's often, kind of left out, or something we don't talk about, especially those of us that are, high volume producers that work a lot, work hard. We don't talk a lot about our health. And I know that, for me, not to overshare, but I've had some health challenges in the last couple of years. And in fact, I actually went through cancer and beat cancer, kidney cancer of all things, which is kind of a surprise. So it's interesting, all the years of stress and all. It's hard to know what it does to your body, but I personally have been someone who's always liked to make time to exercise and be active. And I mean, I could start it off just to kind of give you an idea what I'm looking for, but for myself, I like to get up in the morning and get it going in the morning. And so I'll get up and I'll work out. I mean, I have a Peloton. I'm not a big fan of biking, but that's just been such great cardio. I've had that thing for about 4 years. And I'm good about getting that going in the morning. I have a home gym. I like to lift. I still, believe it or not, play on a men's outdoor soccer team. And I also play tennis here at the sports club. And, just stay active doing other things as well. But those are kind of the main staples of what I do. And it goes along with trying to get enough sleep and trying to, eat well as well. I like to cook. I do a lot of at home. I know a lot of colleagues that order out all the time, and now with DoorDash and everything else, it's so easy to do that. I'd like to go ahead and just kind of go down the line and kind of find out what you're all doing to obviously keep your peak performance going. I think I'll go ahead and start with you, Ariel. Talk to me about what you do for your health, exercise, etc.
Bro, it's incredible that you beat cancer. That's so awesome, Shane. Thanks for sharing that. That is incredible, man.
I appreciate that.
For me, I lost 40 pounds last year. I went on a crazy nutritionist strict diet, and it worked like a charm. In 60 days, I lost 40 pounds. It's been a struggle to keep it down, but I am definitely getting there. I built a gym at the house, so I have been working on keeping it off. And I also signed up for some of you guys that went to EXPCon and Shareholder Summit. You may know Biomi, which is just signed up yourself?
Yeah, I got to send in my test. I got my test kit to send. I was just at Shareholders. I just bought it.
Yeah, me too. I bought it there, and I haven't. So you're just like me. You haven't actually done the testing yet. Hopefully, I'll do it.
It's sitting on top of my other desk here in my office, and I look at it every day and say today.
So same here. Hopefully this weekend, because from what I hear, it's great. There's a bunch of EXP agents doing it, and apparently, you get to understand your body better and how to feed yourself, where not only do you not gain weight, but you actually reduce your metabolic age, I guess that's what it's called. So I'm looking forward to it. But I went on a crazy rampage at the end of the year last year, and for the last 2 months of the year, I don't know who does that during Thanksgiving and Christmas and whatnot. I decided I was going to eat what's good for my body, and I was going to lose tremendous amount of weight. And I started at 202, and I am down to 160. So I keep battling it because I go up 5 pounds, then go down 5 pounds. So I do the same process for a couple of weeks, then I lose it, then I go back at it again. So this Biomi, I'm hoping, is going to help me with determining exactly what I need to be eating. But yeah, I mean, I was I couldn't believe how much weight I lost. Everyone's like, can you give me the number of your nutritionist? And I'm like giving it away like it's candy. But
yeah, that's incredible. That's incredible.
Yeah,
I actually was gonna go ahead. Sorry.
It was pretty incredible. Especially the first 2 weeks. I lost a pound a day the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know that we make the ladies jealous because guys can just stop it. Yeah, I wanted to share that I lost 26 pounds as well. After surgery, I was laid up for a while. So I actually, I started recovery in October, and I lost about 26 pounds between, October and January. And I've kind of just been losing a little bit since. I got about 15 to go. But I know how challenging it is. And I mean, tell me this, 2 things. One is, have you yo-yoed before? Like just, being a busy guy in real estate, like have you found your weight fluctuating from the stress and how you kind of stay consistent? Like has it happened before, or was this the first time?
Never to this extent. I have yo-yoed, where I lose maybe 10 to 15 pounds and then I gain it back and then do it again. And then when that keto, where keto was trending, I did the keto thing and I lost a lot of weight then, but never to the extent of doing it so quickly in 2 months. So, 42 pounds. But
Wow.
more importantly, keeping it off with the way that I feed myself. Like I didn't even exercise. It was just the intake was a lot more mindful. So it incorporated intermittent fasting as well. So I would only eat lunch at 12 and then dinner no later than 7 and nothing in between other than coffee and tea and stuff like that. But it worked like a charm, and I actually had a lot of energy, surprisingly. So I was actually quite surprised. And it wasn't a boring way to eat. Like I was eating bison and I was eating like weird stuff that I never eaten in my life, but it worked out very well because I'm not a picky eater. I'm very adventurous when it comes to eating. So I was eating all kinds of food that I've never eaten in my life, but apparently my body digested well and it doesn't turn it into sugar, which is the issue that we have, especially in America. Everything is, has sugar in it or corn syrup or aspartame.
Right.
If you buy it, like it's just a problem. So,
Right. Yeah. No. Well, congrats, and hopefully you get to your goal. I appreciate you sharing, and I will, I guess, ask the same question, Dave. Dave, any kind of exercise or diet, anything going on there for you health-wise on a daily basis?
Yeah, absolutely. We all know with this business, we can be going long hours all the time. Things tend to pop up quickly, and weight became an issue with me. I'm a retired police officer, so back when I was a police officer, that was a little bit different. We had more of the pressure to be more in shape, but then as I got into real estate, things definitely changed a lot from that aspect. But in the fall of 21, I made a decision that I had to change. I was in my 40s. And health-wise, I had to, didn't have any major health complications, but it was going to be a decision of either I make a change or I'm going to be on some type of medication, pills, or even, worse, start to face body failure. And I decided to change my life. So from November 21 until September of 22, there I'd lost just over 100 pounds. Started at 359 and dropped below 259, and that definitely made me feel a lot better in how I was, living my day-to-day life. It got me back into being more active. Being up here in Canada, hockey's a big thing, and I got back into refereeing hockey. So every weekend I'm spending, usually minimum 3 hockey games, sometimes up to 6. I'm on the ice getting exercise. Wow. Yeah, and it just had to get back out there and stuff that I used to do when I was a kid. My kid plays hockey as well, so way to get enjoying the same type of sport. And then now with hockey season being over, get up early. My wife and I are up every morning at 5 a.m. Go for about a 3-mile walk with the dogs. Gets the blood flowing, get everything going for the day, and then quick breakfast and right into work. The hardest thing, though, I do find is I don't get enough sleep. You're supposed to be getting that 8 hours of sleep. I can't. I'm 4 to 5 hours a night tops because I still have that work drive that I'm still working late at night. So that's definitely something I have to work with as I'm going forward.
Cool. Well, thanks for sharing, Dave. That's interesting too. I had a similar story with my health. I lost almost 100 pounds back in 2004, 2005 during the real estate boom when I was a mortgage broker. That whole working day and night, like literally not working out, like eating just takeout, sleeping like 4 or 5 hours. It's amazing, just that it's just such an accomplishment. I mean, when you lose that kind of weight, like 100 pounds, it's so life-changing and it's so challenging. A lot of people can never make it happen or can never quite get there. And so it's interesting. I feel like just listening to both of you so far, it's interesting how people that produce at a high level or successful in real estate have that drive, right? Like whether it's your weight loss or your workout goals or, whatever. It's interesting because I've been on a lot of these panels as well. And it's always interesting to see the common threads between people that are successful in this business and regardless of where they're at in the world. So thanks for sharing.
Mindset, right? It's
totally
mindset.
Totally. And that's obviously something that I'd love to talk about as well. But yeah, totally mindset. So thanks for that. And Gaurav, I'm sorry, Gaurav, I hope I'm saying that correctly, but if you want to share.
Sure, yeah. So basically, even before I was in real estate, my management consulting job used to take me like travel trips. So for example, in 2019, I was away from home for combined 8-9 months away from Toronto and traveling. So I believe in balancing everything, but it's hard, especially when we are self-employed or in real estate. There are things always to catch up. So I think just, having some sort of a calendar set up and try to improvise it, that helps your schedule. Not everybody might feel going to gym in the morning itself, but try to get that half an hour, 45 minutes for yourself or a workout, or at least some brisk walking down the street, something that gets the heart rate up, and kind of just start from small things. Obviously, the phone is something we are on all the time. I have 2 phones, they always keep ringing, but we do need to find some spare time to give our mind some rest. away from anything that's stressor, whether it's in the deal or anything to do with work or not. So yeah, I guess I mean I'm not perfect at it. Just we don't have to be perfect, just consistent. I think that's the key. So be consistent and follow some schedule to divert your mind, or come out of that stress, even for 1 hour a day. That helps. And I'm vegetarian, so I do have a lot of dietary restrictions by choice, but I feel, yeah, I try to eat out what is obviously more healthier than something which is not. But obviously, I try to cheat on those sometimes, and just to get some small rewards, in your life. Again, yeah, I mean, I think just balance, keep everything in balance is the key, I guess.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I know it's interesting too. You mentioned dietary restrictions. I know we haven't talked about that much, but I find myself challenged. Like when we travel, like I was at shareholder in Orlando, a couple weeks ago, and then we traveled at EXPCon, and just some of us traveled for a lot of different meetings, different things, and I find it challenging if you do have a restrictive diet or you're on a plan when you have to be at a hotel and making that work. And so I was laughing the other day talking to one of my colleagues that I'm really good friends with about like the things we do, like if we're on really strict diets, how we make it work, how we improvise. And I think that also takes discipline. But hey, reward once in a while, we got to live, right? One thing I wanted to touch on too, though, is that, and I'll just step in really quick on this. I, for years, like going to all the different gurus and all these different, conferences, and, everybody talking about you got to get up in the morning, got to get up early, got to do all this stuff in the morning, got to get your exercise and everything. That was getting beat on us for a long time. And like for me, it was fine because I mean, I get up at 4:35 a.m. every day, like until 8:30 a.m. That's my time. That's like, doing your affirmations, that's getting in your workouts, that's getting in your breakfast. I mean, it's like that's a really valuable time. And I love that for me because I really can't do the workout in the afternoon or into the day. Like the way my days go, I know that that's what's best for me. But what I wanted to share was that it's okay if you're not someone that wants to do it in the morning. Really just do something that you can stick to and that's going to work for you. And I'm glad that now people are more lenient, because for the longest time, that was something that was just being pressed on everybody. No, you got to get up in the morning, got to get it done in the morning. And then we're just seeing a lot of people fail. A lot of people could just not commit. I remember when we'd have like groups that would get together to work out in the morning, like we would check in on Facebook and everything. It's like, for a couple of weeks, you'd have 20, 30 people. And then, 4 or 5 weeks in, you might have 2 or 3, because a lot of people will drop off as it is, but, trying to force people in that zone. So just wanted to share that. But I do want to let Rahul have a chance to talk about, his routine. And go ahead, Rahul.
Yeah, thanks, Shane. First of all, thanks for sharing your story. Very motivational. For me, I think as same as you, I believe my mornings are slightly better for me. I think I can get my personal time in before my phone starts to ring. Try to get my workout in the morning. Especially when eating out, I try to carry a lunch if possible in my car when I'm out at showings. And try not to eat outside. But I in the summers, like winters here in Toronto, can be pretty depressing because you stay inside all the time with the snow outside. But for the past couple of years, I've tried to join like a tennis club here, and maybe have some friends get together for like any racket sport indoors. So that way I try to keep myself busy, maybe even an hour a day or 35, 40 minutes workout playing something. I think I get more motivated to play than just hitting the gym. So that's what I try to do and balance my diet. These are a couple of things I try to do.
So basically then, as far as like, it's in the morning, like for you, like tell me something like up there, because I get it I don't have extreme cold weather and everything, but I've seen some of my buddies that do like that 75 hard and everything. I mean, they're out there in like 0-degree weather, or you guys use Celsius, right? You probably don't even use Fahrenheit, right? Like, but I mean, what have you done, or what do people do in your area that have these really harsh winters? Like, are your gyms more packed? Are there more places to go work out? I mean, like, how do you deal with that? Because obviously here where we're at, there's a ton of people outside and on the beach in the morning. Like our winters might dip into the 20s in Fahrenheit, but obviously we use Fahrenheit here, but I'm assuming it's Celsius up there for the most part. But yeah, tell me about that, because I'm always curious. I've seen some guys out there in just this brutal weather. How is it different there? Because I've never been to Ontario.
Yeah, I mean, the only couple of months that are extreme cold, but you do have snow outside. You can't really just go out and do your stuff. There's some tennis clubs out here that have covered areas where we can go and play. So they get pretty full earlier in the spring, summer season. Like their winter bookings get close. You got to be pretty active to get yourself enrolled in there. But otherwise, the gyms are usually more packed in the winters. Like I've noticed early mornings or even like kind of afternoon slots in the gyms are more busier in the winter time. Nowadays, you go there at 6, 7 a.m. Probably won't even see like 5 or 10 people maximum in there. But otherwise, in terms of sports or outdoor activities, I don't do much in the winters. I'm not a winter sports kind of guy. Like I don't know how to ski or all that stuff. So kind of stick to my gym routine. I got a small gym at home, so I do kind of that. And like winters, because the days are not too long over here, it gets pretty dark by like 4:30-ish, 5. Our days kind of end sooner as well, because a lot of people don't want to see houses in the dark. I think it's more about getting our downtime in the winters. And I try to get my routine back to like getting early morning. Even when you wake up at like 6:37 in the winters, it's pretty dark. So you got to find yourself to motivate to go out and do something on your own. But yeah, I think pretty tough to say what a lot of people do in the winters here. But for myself, it's mostly getting my indoor workouts in or heading to the gym and playing some indoor tennis.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And I think now we're going to go ahead and I think what I'd like to do is maybe go around and because we do have a diverse audience, I mean, there's obviously a lot of new agents or even agents that are looking for, more direction on maybe how to get to ICON. What I'd like to do is maybe go around and I'd love to get like three things that you would, I guess, put out there as things that agents that maybe want to do a little more business or want to be a little more successful, 3 things that you would recommend that work for you that, may help them kind of take it up another notch in their business. I think I'm going to go ahead and I'll start with you, Ariel. Could you go ahead and share what 3 things would work for you that you would recommend?
Absolutely. Number one, you definitely should have a marketing budget every month. Social media posting is great, but it doesn't take you anywhere if you're not putting some marketing dollars on it, like paying Instagram, paying Facebook to actually give you exposure to potential prospects. So yeah, it's great for us to stay top of, putting posts on social media. That's just gonna keep us top of mind with our followers and potentially gain some organic followers. But what you need to be doing is you need to be actually putting some money into these social media platforms, and that's gonna bring about business. I'll give you an example. I'm doing an event tomorrow on new construction. I put $250 on Facebook 25 days ago, $10 per day. I have 17 registered families that I'm going to be taking them through brand new homes and possibly getting some contracts under my belt in that community. That's what I mean by actually, it's great to put the post. It's great to, feed content. The algorithm likes it and you may get some stuff organically. But what you need to be concentrating on is actually putting dollar amounts on these posts that are really, really going to get the engagement you need, but more importantly, money in your pocket in commissions. That's number one. Number two, we have a cell phone and we don't use the cell phone the way we should use it, which is to talk to people. We should be talking to everyone we know, whether it's 5 phone calls per day, 5 days a week, maybe just block 2 hours per day for 5 days a week. And you're going to be calling people, either past clients, new clients, if you're a new agent, family, friends, or leads that you are purchasing as well, and actually committing to doing it. If you had a corporate job, your boss is going to tell you, I need you to do this, this, and that, and you get it done, right? Well, you need to treat your business, because this is your business, as if you were your own boss, and tell yourself to do it every day. And number 3, it's open houses. Open houses are back, at least in my market. I tell all my agent partners, at least once a month or twice a month, you should be doing an open house. Saturdays from 10 to 3, or even 11 to 3, 4 hours, and really committing to it. But more importantly, advertising the open house the way it should be advertised, meaning you're going to do not only a post, but you're going to put some dollar amounts on that post. Not only are you going to be putting open house signs, but those, not 5 of them. You should be putting at least 25 to 50 of them out there, so you can get enough walk-ins. And then you should be door knocking the day before to invite the neighbors. And I use this tool called Remind. I don't know if you guys use it, REMIEN. And Remind, you're able to filter out in that neighborhood who has equity on that neighborhood, who has purchased a home more than 3 years, 5 years. You can filter however you want to filter it. Who hasn't refinanced in the last 3 years? And I door knock specifically on those homes. I don't just door knock 50 homes to the left of the subject and 50 homes to the right of the subject, but I actually, in my car with the AC on, go to this home, I door knock, 3 homes down, I door knock, 5 homes down in the neighborhood, I door knock. So I have a purpose of who I'm knocking. I know that this can potentially be someone that can list it with me. I know that I'm trying to sell the home that I'm doing the open house, but the real idea is to squeeze the heck out of that listing and potentially get some new listings. So those are the 3 things that I think people should be doing.
Thanks for sharing. Appreciate it. Actually, just one quick question on one of the things. So, you talked about pushing some money, like for instance, at Instagram. So are you talking about promoting like one of your posts?
Yeah. So let's say you're getting a new listing. We love putting those amazing videos, right? I do amazing videos for my listings as well. But isn't the goal to actually get potential clients, not just stay top of mind? So yes, I do put some marketing on specific posts that I think is going to generate clients to me. Not obviously, you do your just listed and under contract and whatnot, but how about actually targeting people in that area and actually trying to get them to fill out a lead form on Facebook so that they end up on your CRM and then you actually convert them. I think right now what could work really in any market is there's new construction taking place just about anywhere. If you just do a quick video in front of a brand new home, you do a walkthrough of that brand new home, and you tell them to register to do a consultation with you, you'll be very surprised how many registrations you'll get. And I would recommend putting them on Facebook. That's what I do. I know I'm much I have a stronger following on Instagram, but I know Facebook is going to generate more solid buyers. So I do it on Facebook, and I do a minimum of $10. So if you're only going to market $100, then you should do it for 10 days. If you're only going to market, $50, then you should do it for 5 days. At the bare minimum, $10 per day. However, I do strongly recommend that you do a minimum of 25 days. That's why I did on that very last one that I mentioned, $150, $10 per day, 25 days. I got about 3 weekends in there, and I'm doing the event tomorrow.
I appreciate that. Those are great tips. And I'm going to go ahead and move on to Dave. Dave, do you have anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, absolutely. And some of them, I had to start thinking of some other options because Ariel, he touched on a lot of the real good ones. But that's why you're successful, right? Because you reached those.
I'm sorry, David. I'm so sorry. David does a great job on social media. As we're speaking here, he already tagged all of us and shared on his stories what's taking place right now, which is incredible.
Well, and that's going to be like my first point here is consistency. You'd mentioned about social media in the paid posts. Absolutely. I use that in conjunction with organic. So I do a lot of organic. Some agents don't like to do what I do, but I share my life. I share who I am, what I am. As you can see, I'm up on the stage in a shirt, shorts, flip-flops. Right now I'm wearing t-shirt, shorts, and flip-flops. That's literally that's who I am. And I'm just consistent with that. So people understand who I am, and that's how personable I can be. So I share what I'm doing in my day-to-day life. I share what I'm doing in the business life on social media. I don't overindulge it. And we throw out some posts out there of new properties and, price changes and whatnot. But be consistent so the algorithm is able to grab you, and it's free. Now, do some paid stuff as well, like especially if you are going to be doing open houses, and I'll highlight that in a little bit. But you just need to get out there. Starting out in the business flat out sucks, and it is hard. But if you put the grind to it, you'll succeed, just like anything. And like we typed on earlier, or mindset, put the mindset to it, and it'll do it. Now, it's not an overnight success. Second part is visibility. So along with social media, people can see you, but get out in the public so they see you in person. I've mentored agents that don't like to get out in public. Well, people need to see who you are and understand who you are, so they get to know you. It will build your referral network, and referral networks. You never know when someone's gonna call you, and that happened to me. Sidebar here earlier this week. Person called me, come over to list their house. Apparently, I had the deal before I even met them. But once I secured the listing and everything, I said, "Hey, why did you call me?" I said, "My competitor sold the house right next door to you 30 days ago." And she goes, "Well, you sold my cousin's house 2 years ago," and she said, "You're the one to use." So we took her word for it. I'm like, okay, so 2 years later, I'm getting a referral, but it's all off of being visible. I like to be out in the community, such as I mentioned with hockey, when I'm refereeing hockey. I share on my social media that I'm refereeing a hockey game. I sponsor a local hockey team in the stands. My signs are up in there. My face is up in there. I go support this hockey team, so people see me at the rink, so they understand where I am, and I get a lot of business just from people seeing my ads in the rink. So that was number 2, being visibility. And number 3, open houses. Yes, they can suck as well, but they're a great way to get new clients, for people, again, to meet you. Goes hand in hand with the visibility, goes hand in hand with the consistency in marketing, and it all forms together. Put out as many open house signs as you can. Putting them up, it takes a lot of time. Taking them down is even worse, but you're going to see what it results in. My wife's an agent as well. We're doing 2 open houses next week, back to back, a couple blocks from each other. But I'm going to pepper that area full of signs directing people one way and the other. And the hope and goal is I'm going to get a couple new clients. Put in the work, and you'll definitely get rewarded.
Dave, thank you. It seems like we all have so much in common, but it's not surprising. And great job on your social media. I've been actually trying to be more consistent myself, but you're so on it. Gaurav, I will go to you next, sir, if you want to share.
So yeah, thanks, Dave and Ariel. These are amazing ideas, and as you were saying, I could connect how well they are working for me as well. So I get this is pretty much the universal truth out there. But yeah, again, I think there's one more thing which I think I'm trying is find a niche. So this is a big market, if you find your niche in any segment, just go all in. At least try to develop your specialty around it. And then once people start to notice you in that market segment, chances are when you try to diversify into other segments, people will be more receptive because they have heard your name somewhere or through a referral. For example, in my case, I tried to identify that assignments market, went into it, created a portal. It was not a big technical challenge or technology challenge. I could put together a portal in less than 6-7 hours myself. But then I realized I chose a branding. I called it AssignPal, and then AssignPal.com. I created a couple of WhatsApp groups, added top performing realtors in that segment into it. Then they saw that I'm trying to help them sell their listings. So they got even more excited, right? So it's kind of helping people to get there, try to create a niche that seems to work. So it's giving me referrals from all over the place now for selling assignments, for example. But again, that's one thing which I noticed we should try. And obviously, I think which I did not do as much, but I think anybody who's entering new should early on. That's like finding a good mentor. You know, I came from a totally different business line. Late in the game, I'm in my early 40s, and I jumped into real estate game when I was, let's say, late 30s, right? So I should have actually got into mentorship with great names. Like obviously EXP is designed to be like that. By default, we get to connect to a lot of top performing agents, like the people in the hall today, right? You could hear great agents talking about stuff, giving you shortcuts. But again, you have to walk the path. But again, this is one thing for the first 2-3 years I didn't do in my time as realtor, and I think I could have gained more. So find a mentor if you not have already. So these are the two things which I think more importantly might work more than what others are saying, and that actually is working for me too. So that's about it from my side.
Thanks, Gaurav. And Rahul, same question.
Yeah, I think for us, working a sphere is what we focus most of our times on. We do a couple of things throughout the year to kind of be in touch with our clients. We do have the regular physical mailers being sent out every month. We do have an e-newsletter being sent out every month. But in the spring, I send out seeds to my clients along with a personal note for everybody in my database. And now is the time when people start tagging us on Instagram and stuff, and the seeds starting to pop and the flowers are starting to show up. So we get more exposure through their family and friends network. The other thing we do is a client event. We do one big event every year around the summertime out in the open park, and we tell our clients to bring their family and friends as well, just so that we can have a formal introduction, or they know what we do and can meet other clients and hear good things about us. That's been working well in our favor. Last year, we had 155 people show up to our event, and this year, I think with our latest numbers, we're looking at about 185 to 200 people to show up. So to show up for this year's event. And during the end of the year, we try to do smaller get-togethers for our A-plus clients, people who know each other, who've been referred around through each other. We bring them in as a group at my place, or I'll book up a hotel or a restaurant for dinner. And I try to get at least 4 or 5 big groups in before the end of the year. And this way we kind of keep in touch with most of our database, and they anybody who's in the system who wants to buy or sell, we would be the first referral they would send out. And that's been working well for us, just working the sphere.
Thanks, Rahul. Yeah, I guess you guys all, it's interesting, like we all have a lot of the same ones. And I'm going to go ahead and I'll just touch on a couple of things that I do that are maybe just a little more unique from what you guys have all said. I mean, I definitely, pretty much everything you all do is something that I do apply to my business. I know that we all go into different parts of these things deeper. So like for me, where I really go deep is in working my sphere. So I'll just touch on that. Basically with my sphere, and I mean, I know some people in here might be newer, not have as much time in the business, but depending on how good you are about building your database, just because you're in the business for 2 to 3 years doesn't mean you can't have a substantial database. It's been over 20 years for me, and I didn't really start doing a good job managing my database until about 6 years ago. And what I do is with one of my coaches, in fact, Gaurav, when you talked about mentorship, it is very important. And I did learn a lot with one of the coaching programs I was in. They really appealed to people that work their sphere. And so they really taught me how to maximize working with my sphere. And one thing was grouping everybody in my Google contacts into different groups. And then essentially just creating a system to be touching these people frequently, but not to the point where they want to like disconnect from you or block your emails. So I heard newsletter from you guys. So yeah, I do a monthly newsletter. And, you're talking about open houses. So that's definitely something I do. I think one spin on the open house thing is that I like to do what we call a neighbor's brunch. So the first weekend that my listing is going to go to market, I'll go out 3 or 4 days before. And a lot of times I'll have somebody help me on my team. A lot of times I don't have the time to go walk the whole farm, but we will basically send out an invite for a brunch for the first weekend open house. Usually 300 to 400 homes around our subject that we're going to sell. And lately, to be honest, like I hardly walk it myself. Like I might go knock on a couple of doors of people that I'm interested in talking to, but essentially I'll have a couple people on my team go walk them all out. But we'll put these invites on their doorstep. You never put anything in anybody's mailbox or on their door. You just put on the doorstep and inviting them to come over. And what we'll do is we'll set up just a small little brunch, and we'll do it in the morning before our first open house. That's something that we've done for years. That's been highly effective at getting the hype going and getting to know the neighbors. And then as far as working the sphere specifically, what I like to do is we set up a birthday program where basically all our clients get a little birthday gift. And so I have an assistant on my team that manages this. And what we do up front is I've created a form. It's called the All About You form. And what it is, it's a questionnaire. It's in a Google link. It's a questionnaire that I'll send out to new clients, and they will fill out, a series of questions like, when's your birthday? Your partner's birthday? Do you have kids? Their birthdays, pets? Who's your favorite sports team? Where do you drink coffee? What's your favorite restaurant? So it's a quick little questionnaire that they'll fill out, and then we'll save it as part of their contact. And so when their birthday comes around every year, we know exactly what they like or what they're interested in, and we'll send a little something out. So that's one of the big things that we do. And along the lines of this, when I am grouping my contacts in Google Contacts, one of my groups is, one of my main groups that I do a lot with is what I call my top 50 VIPs. And so in the coaching program I was in, I was taught to, group the people that send you a lot of business or people you do a lot of business with. It doesn't have to be somebody you transact with. And this group can change. And it doesn't need to be 50. If you're new and you have 10, so be it 10 VIPs. If it's 80 VIPs, whatever, it doesn't matter. But basically that group gets, a little extra attention. I try and stay more engaged because there are people that obviously always have me top of mind in sending referrals or sending business or just engaging about the market. So, they'll get maybe extra little gift at Christmas time, or, maybe they'll get invited to some additional events. They're just people that really want to be engaged with you, and people that, you're not necessarily bothering, because, some people don't really like to be bothered much. And, it is what it is. You're just reaching out because you want to stay engaged with people. But essentially, the main groups I have in my contact database would be the top 50 VIPs. I have my past clients also tagged. And then I also have, a category for leads, maybe dead leads that never turned out into anything that we keep in our CRM. And lastly, one of the big things is on Fridays, business building, which is where we like to basically create relationships with people that can send us business, like attorneys, CPAs, or even local, coffee shops and people that are in our geo farms. But anyway, I know the lights came on. We're getting to the end of our time. So to wrap things up, I want to, thank everyone who's attended today, and thank all of you for being on this panel and sharing with everyone. I appreciate, everybody's time, and especially those of you here on stage. I know that, you run your businesses and it's hard to carve out even an hour, and love to see everybody giving back to our EXP community that we all love. So thank you guys, and thank you everyone for attending. Hope you all have a fantastic day. And for those of you here on the panel too, I'd love to connect with you on social media. Dave, I did see your story, so I'm going to connect with you guys, and would love to stay in touch. Thanks again.
Yeah, thank you so much, Shane. Thank you so much to our panel and to Shane being our moderator. I enjoy these conversations all the time, but today really, I was really engaged in sitting and listening to you guys 100% fully, because a lot of what you spoke to, I was taking notes. So I really appreciate you all and appreciate your time. And yeah, if any of our audience members, agents want to reach out to these wonderful ICON agents, please do. And we'll see you guys all again next Friday for ICONversations.
See you guys.